Gib. We want, what are the new weekly time frame projections? What are the new weekly time frame predictions? Well, if you know me, and you know that I'm a low time frame VEPS trader, you know that I don't much care about price. Price is moot. The predictions for this week are simple. They are what the probabilities tell you. Right? The distributions of Laplace and normal. If you want to look at the weekly time frame, you can go right to that. Look on the 7-day time frame or the weekly time frame and see that the power mean 30, for example, on smoothing length 10, that one, for example, and you could use others, but that one was rising and is rising again. So if you see a dip to the mid 50s for a mean reversion completion to that power mean, don't be surprised. Does it have to happen this week? No. But is it a legit target? Yes. Why? Well, because when assets move away from the mean, that's distribution. And then once they've moved away far enough, you know what the one thing is that the returns do? Returns mean revert. Right? Once the returns have distributed far enough away from the mean, well, eventually at some point they mean revert. Now they can mean revert by literally flipping their direction, or they can mean revert by just going sideways, or they can mean revert by continuing in the same direction, just at a lesser grade than the angle of the mean that it is reverting to. And that is exactly what we've been seeing happening since the mean reversion was set into motion right about the week of the all-time high back in March. So does it mean it has to mean revert this week? No. Could it take another several weeks or even a few months? Yeah, absolutely. It could even take longer than that. But it is entirely probable that at some point between now and around September, it's going to complete that mean reversion. Right? That line is continually moving, so it's not going to be sitting exactly where it is when it does mean revert. It is moving. And on every different time frame, you have different, that line is at a different place, obviously. But on the 7-day forecast and the weekly, it's around 56, 57K, something like that. Don't be surprised if it goes to 57.5 or whatever to complete that mean reversion. Which, by the way, would be just below, significantly, but just below, a bunch of, you hear all these people using Voodoo TA who really have no idea what they're talking about. They'll tell you, I think, I feel, I have an opinion, my bias. Right? They're basing all their information on judgments made without any actual mathematical relevance. Right? They have no reason to have these thoughts or opinions other than they're just silly. They want to sound like they know what they're talking about, but they clearly don't. Oh, this candle, I heard somebody use the other day a vector candle. What the heck is a vector candle? Now, I know, trust me, I know the silly nonsense, but the words people use, there's no such thing as a vector candle. Sorry, there's price action, which is a result of following the returns. Right? Price action is just a pixel going up and down. It's just a number going up and down. It's not a vector. Right? Complete silly nonsense. And yet again, it's some, TA fake guru. She has I don't know how many tens of thousands of people following her, all singing her praises in the comments as they do for all these idiot YouTube jimmies who claim to know a thing about trading and they don't. And they like to flex, showing the usual travel or fancy or luxury lifestyle BS. Okay, then anybody can flex if they just, invest a little bit of time and effort, go and do a few places and then selling a course, in their Discord or whatever, and selling access to all kinds of garbage for a lot of money. And people buy it because they see, oh, a lot of people are buying it, so it must be good. And it seems easy. Yeah, it's easy because there's garbage. And if you can make heads or tails of what the person is saying, then you know that she's lying through her teeth. Okay? And I'll say who it is, too. I don't really care. It's somebody whose channel is like Travel, Trade, and Chill or something like that. I think that's the name of it. I don't quite remember if that's the thing. But honestly, a perfectly good example of a really bad TA, trader, fake guru, scammer, shiller, grifter, whatever you want to call her. I'll say it right out, I don't care. Oh no, you can't say that about another YouTuber. Why not? Why not? They're scamming people when they tell people that they can, just join my Discord and buy this course to learn how to trade garbage information, which is proven to be garbage, mathematically. It fails most of the time, and 99% of traders get wrecked using similar systems, including that one. So it's a scam, okay? If you're selling a product and 99% of your customers are most probably going to get wrecked, and you're selling them a product that you're charging them to learn how to use a garbage product, I don't care what you call it, in my world that's a scam. That's a grift. That's a shill for a bad product. That's a shill for a lemon. Okay? I'm not picking on her because she's a woman. Plenty of guys do the same crap. Right? Crown does the same crap. Oh no, Crown's the greatest chartist. No, he's not. Right? Crown sells courses and ridiculously overpriced indicators. Right? I was a part of Crown's community for some years. Met some great people there. In fact, the people I co-founded Alpha Trading with, I met there. But here's the difference. We don't shill the lies that Crown shills. He lies. Why do I say he lies? Because he knows better. But he keeps pushing stochastics and Fibonacci and EMAs and SMAs. Garbage that doesn't matter. You know why? Because that's what pays the bills. And hey man, you can say, hey, God bless him, whatever. I got no beef with him. Yeah, fine. I got no beef with him. But I think it's disgusting and lacks integrity to build even a great career, quote unquote, and be highly financially successful based off of telling people I do this from trading, when really you're doing it from selling courses and indicators more than anything. I think it's shameful when you know about something like volatility. You've heard about it, you've seen it. You might not be as adept as trading with it as the co-founders at Alpha Trading, who figured out how to actually scalp with volatility and correlation, and how to actually build a proper entropy indicator and all these other innovative things we've done. I don't care. By the way, he's not the worst even. Plenty of channels who are 10 times bigger. Ron Man Neuter guy has a guy on there who helps people learn how to scalp with a sniper or whatever. Right? Also garbage. Also pure patented garbage. Teaching Voodoo TA. Right? That Moon guy. The Moon, Carl, whatever his name is. Like pure, unadulterated voodoo technical analysis garbage. I'm not saying this to be nice to anybody because I don't really care. I think the reason Alpha Trading exists is because we're sick of seeing people get wrecked because they're being misled by people shilling them to buy scam products, which are technical analysis, traditional technical analysis. It is a scam. It is sold down the river by the high-frequency trading firms and other huge financial institutions who want retail traders to use that garbage because they themselves would never touch it with a 10-foot pole, and they know that retail traders will because it seems easy. Sure, seems easy. Just put your money here and lose. So they push that all the way down the river, all the way through the channels, all the way through the banks, and all the way through the companies that have the video platforms and the newspapers and the television stations and the radio stations, you name it. They push it all the way down to the, financial analysts and economists and talking heads and clowns on television and clowns on YouTube, etc. All right, and they push that all the way down the line. They make it seem like it's the legit thing. They make it appear on every exchange. They have these academies, quote unquote, where you can learn. How do I know? I used to work in one of those places. In fact, I've worked for a number of them. And I would create the marketing material, and I would market that marketing material, and I would bring in the fresh blood. And we had VIP people whose job it was to get every last penny out of them. And there were people who inherited millions of dollars and then who were broke 3 months later because they had a gambling addiction problem. And yes, if you're trading with technical analysis, voodoo technical analysis, you have a gambling addiction problem. Because that is degenerate gambling. You may not know it. Well, you should now. But it certainly is degenerate gambling to be using technical analysis in that sense. Right? Black and Scholes came around in the 1970s. They gave the world the formula for trading options with higher confidence and lower uncertainty. Mathematically, quantifiably, measurably. They gave options traders a real edge that you could calculate. Until then, the world was using ridiculous voodoo TA and other silly nonsense, trading raw. But now we actually have quantifiable and measurable ways of knowing when is it good to be in a trade, when is it good to be out of a trade. And I'm sick and tired of people using bad TA to make stupid trading decisions. Anyway, if you want to learn how to trade properly, if you want to learn a better way to trade and all the garbage you've been shilled, check out Alpha Trading. Check out our Discord. It's free. We don't sell you education. We give it to you for free. We'll even give you indicators for free. Just go to alphatradinghq.com/discord. Once again, that's alphatradinghq.com/discord. And you can just open a support ticket and you'll get free access to those free indicators. Once you learn, we call it the Volatility Starter Pack, by the way. So when you open your ticket, feel free to request the Volatility Starter Pack, and you'll get free access to that. We'll give you that. You get all the free education you need. There's tons of documentation. There's tons of videos you can watch. There's people you can ask. You're not going to get confusing information because it's all very clear. Right? There's one way to do this. There's one way to do that. This tool does one thing, right? As long as you know how to read it, it does that one thing. The other tool does the other thing, etc., etc. Each tool does its own thing. You don't have to learn how to counter trade them. You just have to learn how to read them and trade them properly. Now, apart from that, I wanted to quickly mention and go over what has been happening writ large in the industry that has so many people, including some decent, people who cover the news of the financial industry and the Bitcoin industry fairly well, in the sense that they at least tell you what all the talking heads are saying. And no, I don't believe you need to know every detail. And no, I don't believe it affects trading. What affects trading is the VEPs. But what I see and hear is something that a lot of people pay attention to, whether they should or shouldn't. And so you at least should know something about it. And I'm just going to say real quick, okay? And this isn't meant to diss any particular YouTuber, though I'm definitely thinking of one in mind. Hello to you, sir. If you know who you are, well, good on you. Not a surprise. Also, I don't think you're even watching this, but if you are, hey, well, hello. There should not be a shock. The price is not over $100,000 at the moment. I know, you expected it to be. A lot of people expected it to be. Well, those people were wrong, because those people don't know how to trade. And if they've been watching us on Alpha Trading, they would have seen, we would have told them, as we did when we were at the highs, these are very probably the highs. Take your profits, right? And when it goes down, sell, and when it goes up again, buy, and when it goes down, sell. And, be direction neutral. Don't be emotionally attached to your trades. But people have a hard time doing that. So it should not come as a surprise the price is not over 100,000, even though we have hundreds of millions of dollars entering the market every day. This is not a surprise. What is a surprise is that otherwise smart people think it's such a shock. It's not a shock. It's not a shock that even though you have massive amounts of money entering the market every day, you still have relatively flat price action, if you want to call it that, if you zoom out quite far. But it's not really flat. It's 10% up and down since the high. In fact, even a bit more. At some point it got to 20%. That's not flat price action. It's gone sideways. If you zoom out and scale it up or down, squish it, sure, it looks flat. But actually, in 2023, last year, from March to November, it was not even arguably, it was as flat or more flat than the current price action since March. And the highs were only 3 months ago, just over 3 months ago. Right? It was like the 14th of March, or the 13th, whatever, around then, the 13th, 14th, 15th of March was the high. I think it was the 14th. So it's literally 3 months. 90 days, just over 90 days. That's, it may seem like a long time, but it's not the longest time that prices have been relatively sideways within a 10 to 20% range in Bitcoin. Again, March to November 2023, last year, prices were in the same going sideways range. And guess what? There was plenty of great trading to be had between March and November. Plenty. We were in the sick bull run last year, 2023. January to March was insane. And then it went kind of sideways from March to November. But in that sideways period, it went up and down and up and down and up and down and up. It didn't just sit there. It never does. Right? The casino is open 24/7, if you want to look at it that way. If you're a degen gambler. The exchanges are open 24/7. Bitcoin is open 24/7. You don't need to give a darn what time it is and what time of year it is and whether or not some people are on vacation. You know why? Because the bots that run the market don't go on vacation. And when I say run the market, I mean they run most of the trades on the market. They just do. You may not like that fact, but it's a fact. They run the overwhelming majority of the trades on the market. So there's always action. Yes, sometimes there's a bit less action. Oh, there's weekend consolidation. No, weekend consolidation, if you want to call it that, is just the fact that humans who typically work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday in the US and other places, right, especially in this particular line of work, in institutional brokerage houses, etc., right? Sure, they may not be working outside of normal working hours, but guess what? Other retail traders are, and bots are. So even on weekends, you've got plenty of degen traders, yay, trading on weekends, and you've got plenty of bots trading on weekends, and on summer vacation, and on everything else. It doesn't stop. The market doesn't stop just because of a calendar date. Okay? This isn't an exchange that stops because of holidays. Bitcoin is an asset that runs 24/7, 365, and does not care about holidays. It's not programmed to recognize a holiday as a reason to stop being available for trading. That's one of the powers of it. And you may say, well, they should take a day off because of my religion. Well, then don't use Bitcoin, or don't use it on that day. I know plenty of religious people who use Bitcoin from many different religions. Somehow they found a way to do it. Now, I'm not dissing on your religion or your opinion at all. I'm just saying that's not a reason that you use dollars. Does it matter that dollars trade on a particular day that's your religious holiday? No? What about euros, yen, pounds, shekels, yuan, liras, pesos? No? Kronos? None of that matters to you? Grievers. Rubles. Right? You use those monies? Any of them? Or others? But what, somehow you can't use Bitcoin because it trades on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Friday? Don't be silly. I mean, be as silly as you want, but that's nonsense. Yeah. So, again, nobody should be surprised that Bitcoin is not over $100,000. I'm sorry, but you just shouldn't. English or Spanish? What do you mean? English. Sure, why not? If you want to ask a question, ask in English. You can ask in Spanish, maybe I'll understand it. Maybe not. The price of Bitcoin is not dictated by how much you really want it to be above a certain price or below a certain price, or how much you really believe it should be. It's not dictated by somebody who puts up a fancy chart of, oh, look, we have this metric. It shows that the price of Bitcoin has never gone below the price it costs to mine it or something, which is BS. Oh, look, we show that Bitcoin has never dipped to the 200 SMA, which is, again, BS. Oh, look, we have this other chart that shows blah, blah, blah. You can show me all the blah, blah, blahs you want. All right? I can hear you gnashing your teeth and grinding them and being upset that Bitcoin isn't six figures. You're missing the opportunity. I mean, you can acquire more while it's below six figures. You should be happy about that, as long as it takes. And if these gamblers want to get, be fair weather fans only and only trade when it's good times, good for them. And if these large institutions want to collect every last Bitcoin that's available, and you don't, because you are upset that it's not above six figures, well, good for them. And guess what? It's going to be above six figures whenever the heck the people that own more of it than you decide they're going to create that volatility and that correlation, and they're going to drive the price action to well above six figures, and then they're going to dump it on you, and you're going to feel like an idiot. Well, I thought it was going to be above six figures, and I was right. Yeah, did you make money on that? No, I lost money on that. Okay. Why'd you lose money? Because I wasn't in the long trade, and I sold when they dumped, not before. Okay. See, you got to buy when it's low and sell when it's high. That's how it works. I know, people go, it's a cliche. Yeah, it's a cliche. And it works. That's why it's a cliche. Not every cliche may be that way, but this one happens to be. The thing is, you don't know when it's high or low, because you have no idea. Because you don't actually know how to read volatility or entropy, let alone probabilities and statistics. You might think you know, but you don't. You have no idea how they are relevant in the world of trading. If you knew, you wouldn't be complaining about the price of Bitcoin or any other asset. You'd be gleefully trading it regardless of the price. You'd be accumulating it as much as you possibly can, regardless of the price. Because whatever the price is now, you know, long term, mathematically, the probabilities indicate it is extremely probable that the price will eventually go not just up a little, but up many times a lot. And I don't need to give incredulous sounding price targets in this video, but many times. And the price again is moot. The gains to be made from the returns that remain to be untapped in Bitcoin are insane. And if it gives you, God willing, you like that? Ungod willing, or whatever, not God willing, if it gives you a massive dip, who knows, $1,000, down to $1,000, because of some crazy Black Swan event, which will just be another VEPS event. Guess what? That'll be an incredible opportunity to accumulate, in my opinion. Why? Because unless the entire network is dying for some reason, a massive price correction, that wouldn't be a price correction, that would be a price crash, would be an incredible opportunity, just like we had in 2020, just like we had at the end of 2018, just like we had many times before, 2015 and before, 2010, and and 2012. Why can't we have massive price corrections right now? Well, right now we don't have massive price corrections because right now the institutionals are buying every Bitcoin that they can get their hands on. Like, far more than are being produced. Consider there's only 450 new Bitcoin being mined every day. That's it. There are tens of thousands of Bitcoin moving hands every day. And most of them are going into the hands of institutionals. They're buying anywhere from, like, I think 5,000 to 15,000 to sometimes more Bitcoin a day. Every day. We're seeing hundreds of millions of dollars pouring into the market. They're buying spot. They're shorting futures. They're pouring liquidity into the market. They're creating market in the spot market of the actual underlying asset, and they're pouring money into the derivatives market of, paper Bitcoin, if you want to call it that. Why are they doing that? Because they consider 70K or 60K or whatever the price is to be a relatively good buy-in price. By the way, Michael Saylor just announced, right, that yesterday or 2 days before, that he's not just launching a $500 million note to raise more funds for his company by buying Bitcoin, to buy Bitcoin. He's actually going to be spending $700 million on it. What do you think that's going to do for the price of Bitcoin? Low supply, high demand. It should do what? It should drive the price up. What would stop it from driving the price up? Volatility, entropy, probability, and statistics. How would that be neutralized? If you have all this buying happening and people putting in more and more and more liquidity to buy more, which means they have to purchase it from people who are willing to sell it. And if they see somebody coming in with a large order, they're obviously going to charge more and more and more for it as the order keeps piling in, because they see that we have less and less to sell. I'm going to charge you more and more. Who are they buying it from? They're buying it from whales who have many thousands of Bitcoin and are perfectly happy taking profit at 66K and then buying back if and when it dips again a little bit below, or not even caring, just continuing to hold onto their massive holdings. Why are they happy holding on and not selling everything? Well, because they already have, in some cases, hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of Bitcoin. So they don't care if they sell, oh, here's another 100 Bitcoin. Here's another 500 Bitcoin. They don't care. Sell it to a bank? Sure, whatever. You got to remember, there's not a lot of Bitcoin left that's available, like on the market right now. There's like about 1 million, maybe 1.5 million. That's it. And all the other Bitcoin that's being bought is being bought from places that are not available on the market. They're miners, they're old whales, they're OTC brokerages, they're people that have large holdings that have made significant gains already and that are perfectly happy taking profits, selling them to banks and other big whales. So, if I find oil, tell you. Oh, America, if you find oil, tell me. Okay. America has plenty of oil. America is actually the world's largest producer of oil, right? Through its shale oil. America actually produces more oil than any other country right now. So people saying America needs to drill more, you know, they're selling a political lie. They're doing it for votes. Drill, baby, drill, or whatever they're saying. America's drilling so much that its oil companies are not even using all of the licenses that it has to drill. And they fake pretend like we need more. You know, there's people in certain political arenas that will tell you the problem with American economy is we don't have people drilling enough oil and we need to make sure they have more licenses to drill. They have hundreds of licenses to drill that are not being used. Hundreds. Ever ask them why? Why are they sitting on licenses that are untapped, literally? It's a joke, man. It's a joke. The oil companies in America are making bank. They're wrecking the environment in the process with the shale oil stuff because of the way that it's produced. If you don't know, you should look it up. It's pretty devastating to the environment. But the U.S. is producing more oil per day than any other country on Earth. And it is at record pace right now since years. And that record happened under the current administration, no less. Only increased from the previous record that was set under the previous administration. So oil has been in scoundrel, many of them. But that doesn't mean that they're not liars. It's their job description. And as somebody who's met both the current president and the former president, and who advised a president a few before them, and advised Congress on what? On things like e-commerce, financial services, internet taxation, internet transactions, regulation, domain name governments, protecting kids, education, all kinds of different stuff. Way back in the day. In fact, I did the first ever broadcast or webcast from the U.S. Senate back in the day. I presented the first ever e-commerce webcast explaining to the United States Senate what it is and how you can use the internet to do things like book a flight, book a hotel, rent a car, go, to see an event, go to see a show, go to a business conference, order food online, etc., etc. Way back in the day, we're talking in the 1990s. Done many things in this industry that are, internet industry and all that are pioneering. But you know what? I can tell you, whether they're good people or bad people, or whether they do generally good things or bad things, they all have the same the job description, these politicians. They're all liars, thieves, and scoundrels. Every one of them. And in a way, it's not just because I'm jaded, but I'm grateful that I am jaded in that way. But in a way, it's kind of a good thing if you believe that the existing system as it is still better than the one currently out there, and that it needs to be improved, not demolished and replaced with something that could be far worse. Right? If you want to demolish it, have something far, far better to replace it in that instant, so that there isn't a vacuum that creates a far worse paradigm. Because that's what happens. If you destroy something, you create a vacuum, you create a space where that thing was, and that space will be filled. And if you don't have a proper plan in place, it's rarely ever the better angels of our human nature that come filling in that space at first. You have to have that stuff planned out well in advance and agreed by most people, if not everybody. Otherwise, disaster is looming. So anyway, back to the Bitcoin. I think this week will be like pretty much any other week. Trade the VEPs. Don't be misled by headlines. Understand that this enormous transfer of wealth that we're seeing, going from old wallets to wallets that want to buy at the current prices. It's not like they're going to be out of Bitcoin forever. Again, they're selling a small portion, and they know when the prices dump, whenever they do dump. By the way, it doesn't matter to run up and then dump or just dump. Whenever will be the next dump, that will be another opportunity for them to buy. And you can say, well, what if it goes up to 90,000 and then dumps to 70? Then they've lost money. Right. If you think that, you don't understand how this works. Selling at these prices, do it for a number of different reasons. But if they have more Bitcoin than they need, and these days that's about one. One more than one. If you have two or more Bitcoin, in most places you have more Bitcoin than you need. Not in all places, but in most places. And we're talking about people who have thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. You think selling a few hundred or a few thousand of them is going to cause them a problem? It's not. You're going to take that profit, use it in some other way, and they're either going to, long a position and short another position. And when they take the cash and carry profit, when they take the profit on the differential, they use that money to buy back some of their Bitcoin, basically for free, from the banks that will be distributing all over the retail faces, who will be shocked that the banks have all this Bitcoin because they have abilities of the future. So if you actually want to not lose out, should you pay attention to the news, or should you learn? So the answer is very clear. You should learn to trade the VEPs. Turn lemons into lemonade. Right? Quite literally. There's a lemon right there, by the way. Can you see? Lemons, turn them into lemonade. Turn lemons into lemonade. There's a lemon right there. Maybe you can see that. Probably not. Anyway. Yeah, don't be misled by the misinformation. And don't be surprised if we see Bitcoin staying, quote unquote, stagnant until September, October, or even November. Okay? It can stay within a 10-20% range for that long. It could even do it longer. But it's so coiled up. It's so ready. I can't understand why it's not over 100 grand. It should be over 100. We've seen people say it should be over 100 grand. It's been a couple months since the halving. It should be already climbing up. Bro. Patterns break. Maths don't. If you know what you're doing, trading the relevant maths is the way to go. And you can tell me, I've seen it all. I've seen the EMAs. I've seen the Fibonacci's. I've seen the triangles. I've seen the candle patterns. I've seen the W's. I've seen the channels. Bro, you're fooling yourself. And you can say that you've seen it all. But you haven't, because you don't know how to trade the VEPs. If you did, you would understand this isn't I'm shocked going on when you're trading the VEPs. It's just, in a very good way, ho-hum. Is what that particular day is on any asset. You ask me for a different time frame, I'll tell you the probability of that one. And can it exceed expectations? Can it outperform expectations? Yes. But do those outperformed expectations still fall within other probabilities? Yes. Do you know why? Because there are always measurable probabilities. Once you understand that you can measure the probabilities, you can see them, calculate them yourself, they're on tools that will show you exactly where they are. And they update automatically ones using the actual maths that actual HFT firms are using and that actual quant shops are using in their algos. Then you would understand the power of the VEPs. Once you understand that, then there is no being shocked by whatever Bitcoin is doing on any given day. And then you might ask yourself, but then Yasha, if it's not so exciting, why do you talk about it all the time? I talk about it because I, first of all, love the subject matter. I want to share what I know with people. A lot of people in my real world, they don't want to hear it. And I'm not going to talk to them about it because they don't want to hear it. But people online are interested. So I'm going to talk about it online because that's where people are interested. And I'm sick of people being misinformed, deceived, and lied to, and shilled to, and grifted to, and scammed by poor information that is intended to mislead them and intended to help them get wrecked. Maybe. Probably zero. I don't care. I do this so that whoever does happen to stumble upon it, ever, gets to learn something that's actually true about Bitcoin, or trading, or markets, or marketing, or technology, or things that I know about. But specifically when it comes to trading, that is very interesting for me to share, because so many people put their hard money into it, their real blood, sweat, and tears that they worked, and they traded their time for it. They earned money, and then they put that money on the line, basically gambling it, and they lose it, they get wrecked, and they get hurt. And that is a form of violence when somebody does that to you by misleading you with garbage information. Look at this triangle, it works 70% of the time. That's garbage. When you learn how to trade the VEPs, it doesn't work some of the time. It just works. That's why we use it. It's measurable. Can you have randomness? Of course you can have the market time. Can you still predict where an asset is going in the short term? Yes, I can. Can you still predict where a market is going in the long term? Yes, I can. And what do I do if I'm wrong about that decision? I get the hell out of the trade immediately. Immediately. I don't wait for it to take money from me. I just get out of the trade. I don't wait for it to possibly turn around. No, I just get out of the trade. If you don't follow the 3 rules of trading, trade with these following rules, which are, number 1, take profits early and often. Number 2, limit your loss. And number 3, don't be emotionally attached to your trade. If you don't follow those 3 rules, good luck being a consistently profitable trader for years and years and years. Good luck. It's not going to happen. In all probability, it's not going to happen. But if you follow those 3 rules, and you know how to use leading information, the volatility, the entropy, the probability, the statistics, if you know how to read that information and you know how to use it and actually take the relevant actions based on that information, then guess what? you have a much higher probability of being a consistently profitable trader. Anyway, that's it. I've already told you where to go. See you in the Alpha Trading Discord. And yeah, hopefully you'll come and learn how to trade the VEPs. And until the next video, I'll see you around. Do the social thing if you want, whatever. You know, the likes and the subscribes. Most importantly is, if you want to learn how to trade the VEPs, join the Alpha Trading Discord. That really is the most important thing that I can impart to you today. All right. Thanks, folks. Take care.